Right, I'm watching Gorlock right now to see what his patterns are. He's definitely not going for loot or trying to recruit. So let's switch him back to no. We do none. Yeah, recruit. He is still recruiting troops. Oh, you know what? Interesting. So we can make the priority higher. Interesting. We can patrol around Rote and Amatatis. Let's take Amatatis off of that. We'll recruit troops at the very least. Yep, so we'll work on those two things then. Let's see what he does now. Yep, there he's starting to recruit. Okay, anyways, let's start farming up again. Now, if we come across people that have troops, we'll take them and then just turn them over to the authorities or whatever you want to call it. So you can donate troops to garrisons. So we'll end up doing that. So Araconia is the closest. Let's just go up there and do it. Here we go, donate troops. We'll get a single influence for it, but I think in the future, if we come across a big prisoner party, then we'll take advantage of that. So career bearing, he wants us to be vassal. We're not going to be vassal. We are stuck as a mercenary for the rest of the game. All right, let's start working on recruiting new people. But to be able to do that, we need to make sure we have enough equipment. And Milan is exhausted. Papal States 1. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect us because we're mercenaries, so we don't have to deal with that. Let's go gather some hardwood. Actually, is there hardwood anywhere else? Or do we have to, we literally have to go all the way up to England for it? There's two, well, there's one right here at Hitania. And then there's that other one at Popsia, but it's just as far, I feel like, to, well, no, it's not. That's really far. There's another one right here, Adern. We can go to 3 places then maybe, and then we'll come back. But this place has 136. Whoa. All right, that's about all we can carry, actually, without going too far overburdened. So we'll head back, drop that off. And if we need more, we can come back. We'll go to the other 2 that are in the north. Maybe there's more. There's 2 here. I think it's just those 2. Yeah, I don't see anything in Sturgia in this immediate area either. Oh, you know what? There is one right here at Uthalheim. Yeah, so there's a decent amount up there if we need it. There we go. Our wife just got pregnant again. That took forever, though. There we go. We finally hit level 100 polearm. So for level 100, we probably want to take combat movement speed with polearms, I think. This one, polearms that can knock back, ignore 25%. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. The +3 hit points for infantry is nice, but I don't think companions count as that. That's only for regular troops. So it doesn't really help us too much, but combat movement speed can help a little bit. If there was something better, we would take it. But I think that's what we're going to go with for our companions. We're starting to stockpile a pretty healthy amount of equipment here. So let's try and spend some of it. Maybe we can get... The thing that we're short on is hardwood. Everything else we can make. If we refine it, we'll massage it all the way up. But the problem is we have nowhere near enough hardwood to process it all. We probably need somewhere around like 1,000 to be comfortable. So getting a couple hundred here and there is just not going to be... it's not going to be enough. But it's fine. It's good for now. So let's keep upgrading. We'll get a few companions to do this. Get their levels up to like 100, 150. And then we'll have one companion that goes all the way up to 300, I think, plus our main character. And then everybody else can kind of be support. We'll just get them up to a decent level. Like 100 is good because then they can all do whatever refining they want. So if we take all of our supplies, there we go. A couple things. We need to get throwing weapons for our wife. Probably need better throwing weapons too, just in general, because for some reason these things were not doing that much damage. Still damage. Yeah, I wish... Oh, this is why. Okay, so A is armor, D is damage inflicted, penetrated, and blunt force. So if we look at going up against a decent armor rating, like let's say 0 armor does 133. If we go down to, say, 50 armor, it's only 42 damage. 31 of it being pierce, and 10 of it being blunt. 60 is basically no damage. It's 22. 70 is 11. Yeah, you're basically doing no damage at the high end. So I'm kind of curious, do we get the same stat with this? We do, actually. So the drop-off is huge. Yeah, it's huge once you get down to like 30 armor, 40 armor. 30, 40 armor is where it drops off. So we start out at 101 against somebody that has no armor. At 30, it goes down to 52, and then 40, it goes down to 33. And it's basically about as low as it'll get at 50 and up. 17 all the way to 100 only goes to 11. So that is that. What about this? Yeah, see, this one, even at the best case scenario, it's only doing 38 damage, essentially, at 20 armor. And then if you go down to, oh no, it's like half actually. So 70 armor, it does 22. We definitely need a better mace. This mace sucks. So why don't we work on that then? Why don't we work on getting a better mace? What kind of unlocks are we still missing? No, we're not missing anything. We just need to get higher crafting materials. And we need somebody high enough, with a high enough level to be able to do that. So we can work on that right now. So this mace looks okay. It's got a tier 5 head. If you go to the tier 4 or tier 5 handles, they require quite a bit of steel, and we don't have a lot of steel to spare. So we'll upgrade that at some point. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Maybe it does, but just looking at the stats, they were pretty similar. So we'll keep it simple. 1 hardwood, 1 iron. The big spend is the steel, but we have quite a bit of it to spare. So let's see. Yeah, balance. We can get some decent ones here, actually. Oh, yeah. It's rusty and dull and all that. All right, we are short on iron. Let's go ahead and refine, craft a few more. We've crafted a bunch of these things, but a lot of them are not good. So unbalanced is the -1, splintered is the -2, crafted as the base, and then balanced is a +1 to damage, essentially. So splintered we might want to get rid of, because that's a big difference between the regular 2 damage. But it's probably better than what we are currently using, so why don't we just see if they're going to swap. So let's go ahead and we'll put all these on hold, and we'll put the balanced one on. See how does that compare. All right, also, yeah, our wife needs one of these things. And then everybody else, yep, it's going to swap them out. Perfect. Is there anybody that didn't swap? Because we still have a couple spares, but I think it's just because we didn't have enough. Yeah. Or we had too many, I mean. So we'll unbound that, and then we'll balance craft it. Let's smelt these all down. And then we'll try to get a few more so we can get rid of those splinter ones. I think if we can get rid of that, recoup some of these materials, we'll be in good shape. Yeah, we're only getting rusty and dull, unfortunately. All right, we got a couple there. Let's see, that should have been enough. Yep, they swapped out a bunch of weapons. Perfect. So unbalanced, we'll uncheck that. We don't want splintered. We don't want unbalanced. Splinter, dude, all we have here is the crappy ones. That's fine. Smelt them back down, and then I think we're good for now. Oh, we need javelins. That's right. Yeah, we should replace the javelins too. What kind of materials do we need though? So for the high end, we need fine steel. So we're going to need more hardwood if we want to get all that material up. It's going to be too much for right now. But maybe, can we find a cheap one? So these are steel. Yeah, it's tier 3. It's the same that we already have. Yeah, we've been using this one already, I think. Oh, interesting. So when you go to the higher levels, notice the stack amount goes down a lot. So I guess we gotta weigh out if it's worth it to lose that, because up here 10, these are 5. Most of these are 10. Yeah, a lot of these are 10. Huh, interesting. I mean, it's nice to have javelins that do a massive amount of damage, but if you only have 1 or 2 of them per stack, it's not good. Because if they decide to target a peasant instead of the top tier unit, it just basically goes to waste. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize that. We got to consider what's the best ratio, because in tier 5 it's 1, 2, and 3. You only get 1 here, 2 and 3, and then even in tier 4 it goes up to 5 per stack, which is like a normal amount. So maybe we'll stay at tier 3 then and just use ones that don't do quite as much damage. They can clear the shields, like it's good. They're good at that. This might be a good one, because this one does get bonus damage to shields. So I think I'll end up crafting these, and they're very cheap to make. So I think that's probably a good call. Okay, there we go. That's what we're gonna make. I don't know if this is a good idea to have all the physics going on right here, because if we have a bunch of people using these, that's going to be a lot of processing power for the CPU. So maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but if we just do something simple like a fixed, it's not going to have that. But it doesn't look as cool. So yeah, I think we'll try it out. So let's go ahead and spam these things. Okay, we made way too many, but that's fine because I wanted to get rid of some of the bad ones. So we have bent, cracked. Let's get rid of the cracked first because those are the worst. Right, yeah, the cracked is the worst. So we'll get most of our materials back. The bent, we need 21, so or 22, I guess, because of the wife. So we could get rid of all these two, and we'll still have enough. So why don't we do that? There we go. All right, so it automatically notices these are better. So let's make sure we want to have the large bags for ourselves, and then everybody else can get the leftovers. And our wife, yep, she doesn't have one as well. So let's make sure she's got it. So everybody looks like they've got a stack, and we have a few extra for spares. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to get rid of these crafted javelins. So let's smelt those back, and then we'll keep these. And then I think we're good for now. Let's go maybe get a little bit more XP, and then we'll... I think it's about time to start hiring some people. Hiring the rest of our army. There we go. And then we'll put the rest of the stuff back in the warehouse. Okay, there we go. We've got 788. Yeah, the main thing is we need hardwood. And then we could refine all this stuff up. So as we go out, we'll start collecting more. The big thing is we need more people. The more people we have, the more sumpter horses we can have. And that means we'll increase our carry capacity by a significant amount. So we'll work on that next as well. We could probably start looking at getting some better horses. So why don't we get maybe like 25 Midland Palfrey? Let's see if they all upgrade. They do actually. Perfect. So we'll give some of them back. Let's sell our sumpters back down to the... So we're not getting a herding penalty, but that looks good. So everybody's got a better horse for now. I bet you some of these guys have high enough riding. They can have more than that. No, they can't actually. So 70 riding, 60, 70, 55. So it looks like once we get closer to like 60 and 75, we should be able to upgrade to a better horse. So we'll save our money until then. I think we can probably afford a few more pieces of equipment here, though. Let me go through and see. Oh yeah, that reminds me. One thing we do need to make sure we have is our bow. So it's a legendary Western reinforced light longbow. So it's not a great one. We'll definitely need to replace it later with something better, but that's the best they have here. 2 sets of needle bodkin. So this one can handle 107 weight. This is 90 gram. So it's just under, so that should be fine. So that takes care of that. What are we lacking the most? I feel like most of our people have looter armor. Like if you look at what they're wearing, cheap padding, yeah. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong. 29 armor for a starter gear is not bad at all. With the helmet and everything else, they actually have their armor up to 80, so that's pretty good. But if we look at what we have, 203, they're nowhere near what we have. So helmets, should we do helmets? Most people are up in the 30s, so it's not bad. Now, if we were to upgrade chest armor, what kind of expense are we looking at? So anything they have multiple of. Wax cheap padding, that's what we're already using, so that's not going to work. Yeah, we're looking at like 6 to 10 grand per. Ouch, man, that's so expensive. And it's not that much better, but yeah, let's buy like 5 or 6. We'll just buy a couple at a time. There we go. That takes our money down to 85k. Why don't we get a few decent helmets and shoulder pads as well? I know we already upgraded some shoulders, but we can get a few more. That looks pretty good. We'll sell the rest back. And then what about some helmets? Yeah, I don't want to spend too much more. Maybe around the 10k range. Get a few helmets there. Actually, no, the helmets we have are pretty good. This 7500 one didn't even get used, so we'll sell that back to them. I wish they had good shields here, but they don't, so we need to go somewhere else for that. All right, let's button it up. Yeah, we just spent like 80 or 90k on equipment for 20 people, and that was like a very few pieces of equipment, so I can see why they would do their economy the way they did. But anyways, let's keep going. We got level 200 trade. I would like to save up a bunch of cash, and then hopefully by the end of this, we'll have level 300 trade, and then we can just buy our own land. And that's kind of what he was doing. So my understanding is as he was saving up money from his Italian, mercenary contracts, he would send money back home to buy up land in his home region or in England. So we could probably do something like that. We'll go back and buy somebody's land. We need to save up maybe like 100 million, something like that. We'll go buy a few pieces and then retire. But anyways, what do we got here? Penalty while selling food or penalty while selling random crap that we'll probably never have. Let's get food. Okay, let's do this. Let's do another 1 or 2 trips to get charcoal and hardwood. And then we'll come back. Hopefully we'll have some more money by then because, oh crap, I didn't realize we were at war with England. Okay, so we can't go that way then. There's one up here. We'll go up there to Hetania. And then we'll come back. We'll start to build out a supply for our foot troops. Because if we have a shield wall, we need at least a spear, a set of javelins, a shield, and then some other kind of weapon. Right now we have maces on our cavalry, but maybe that's not the right call. Maybe on the front line, those guys can have swords or something. Let me wipe these guys out real quick. All right, I'm testing these javelins out. These things are terrible. They're doing like 30 damage to looters. That's so bad. Yeah, look at that. That guy took like 4, and he's still going. 31 damage to that looter. Okay, absorb damage was only 11, so it just has a low... Let me look at the stats then, because that doesn't make sense. I thought it said it was going to do better than that. Yeah, if we look at this and the missile damage, with 0 armor, it says it should do 137, so that's botched. I can't even look at these numbers then. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, at 30 damage, they should have been with 60 armor. Oh, no, you know what? If we hit him in the face, it probably does 137. So they must have around 60 armor where we were hitting. So if we look at like this stuff, 28 armor, they don't have anything else. They didn't have like hand covers or helmet that gives body armor. So at best we were hitting 30 armor. What would 30 armor be? So 30 armor, we should have been seeing 87 damage. Yeah, something's off. This is not accurate. We can't really look at it. I guess we're just going to have to do trial and error. We'll do it later. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to get all that hardwood. So, you know what we should have done is settled somewhere close to some wood production. That would have been good. Maybe up here in the north. But, I mean, we had to join the Visconti because that's kind of who in real life, that's who gave us, or I think our first or our biggest contract, something like that. But anyways, 58 hardwood, not that much. Where do you drop your stuff off? You go to Argeron, so let's go up there and buy the rest of his supply. And yep, he's got 60 in here. That's pretty good. And since we're here, let's check out what they've got in stock. Fortified kite shield, that's pretty good. I think that's what we're using right now. So we'll put that in. We probably need to start saving up these leather-bound shields as well. That'll be our starter shield for the front line. So let's start saving those up so that we can at least get them going. Though the towns tend to have a lot of these, so I think that's a good starter shield. Same thing with some of these, like the battered kite shield. These other ones are kind of one-offs. Okay, not much there. Do they have a better bow? Not really. We can go with a composite. I don't really want to do that. We'll stick to the longbow. And then they do have 100 grams. We're currently using 90, and our bow can go up to 107. So let's swap that out. Let's keep both. They're light enough. And then weapons. I don't want to buy weapons anymore. Let's just make sure we produce our own. The only thing that would make sense is weapons that are going to give us a lot of hardwood. So let's try to buy some of that stuff. Yeah, like these pitchforks. Sometimes they give you just 1 hardwood though. Here we go. So well-made pitchfork gives us 3. Pitchfork gives us 3. The fork only gives us 1. So we don't want the fork. We will buy the other one though. That's actually a good idea. I should have been doing that at the other towns as well. So we want this one. We want the pitchfork, and they have 40 of them. So that's like 120 wood right there. Actually, we're going to probably get more wood from that than we are from buying hardwood directly. And it's lighter. So, okay. So why don't we head down? We'll go to Saniopa on the way back. See if they've got any weapons we can buy, and then we'll go craft some more stuff, and then we'll start recruiting. Yeah, they had another 46. So we'll take that for sure. Well-made pitchfork, I think it's the same thing. These fine pitchforks. Iron, yeah, the iron pitchfork and the fork are the ones that don't give you. And then balanced fork. These are the ones that give you iron. Wooden hammer, those also give you wood. So we'll take all that. We're still not even over our limit, so we're still in very good shape. We're getting a little low on money though, so let's maybe head back. Also, let's take a quick look. We've got our 1 caravan up in the north, 1 caravan in the west, and then Gorlock is still alive. That's good. How many troops do these guys have? Everybody is... Oh, wow. Gorlock is almost maxed. Good for him. All right, and then Clan Tier. We're still Clan Tier 2. We're not quite ready for another party, but we'll be doing that soon enough. Yeah, we got to catch up with our main party. We're just kind of spending a little bit too much time collecting resources. But I don't know. This part to me is a lot of fun, so I don't mind it. They had a bunch of weapons here we can buy as well, so we'll take that. That's going to take us close to 0, but we'll make that money back. Now if we look at our crafting, we've got a massive amount of hardwood just sitting here. The hammers also, they give a little bit of metal, but I don't really care about that. It's mostly this +3 that we're looking for. So So that's perfect. Okay, that's a new strategy. I mean, we'll still collect the hardwood, but these ones stack a lot easier. So it only weighs 0.6, but it converts into 3 hardwood, which would be 30. I don't know how that makes sense. The conservation of mass, I guess, doesn't really apply in Bannerlord and Calradia, but that's all right. So let's start processing all this stuff. We got a lot of stuff to do. Right, that took us all the way up to 540 hardwood, which converts to like what, 750, almost 800 charcoal. That should be plenty to convert a lot of crafting materials over and then start making some stuff. So that I'm happy about. I'm gonna probably do this offline though. So let me get cracking. We'll start making some good stuff. So I spent I don't know, maybe an hour and a half farming up. We got our smithing up to 136, but we also have one of our companions. I got it pretty high, so he's up to 219 at the most. We've got another one at 189. I replaced several things, so let's go through that real quick. I replaced all of our javelins with the higher tier, so I'm hoping this one does more damage, because the other one was just pathetic, man. 20, 30 damage per hit on a looter is not going to cut it. This one does have fewer stack size. I went with a tier 4 if I remember. So this one has a standard stack size of 5, but it should do more damage. And then the large bag gives us 8. And then if we look over here, these guys have the standard 5. So I hope they do actual damage. It's less, but they should be able to get actual kills with it rather than just tickling people to death. I also swapped out the mace. So this mace uses a tier 5 part for the head, and I think tier 5 for the shaft. So very good mace. It was doing a lot more damage. I think it was like 60 or 70 damage. So that was pretty good help. And then I didn't craft anything from here, but I did do some unlocking. So if you look here on our two-handed, we went from 0 all the way up to starting to unlock tier 3 parts. So that one's good. And then we have everything unlocked for polearm. We have everything unlocked for javelin. Yep, and then we have everything unlocked for mace. So these 3 categories are completely done. We still need to get, I think pike's going to be important to get unlocked. I don't know that we'll do two-handed axe, but I do want to get the two-handed maces, two-handed swords. Those are pretty important. I know throwing knives aren't normally that important, but I think for like prison breaks and maybe stuff in the town, this could be pretty important. So I do want to get that at some point. What else? Maybe one-handed sword would be a good idea for a front line. But then we could also just give everybody the mace. I mean, that would be the safest option because anytime we come up against really heavy armored, they're going to handle it. If they come against low tier, weak, they're going to have javelins to deal with a lot of them. And then they'll finish them off with the mace. So that's probably the safest bet, but I don't know, maybe the sword's still a good idea. I still think the polearm is where most of the damage is going to be done. I thought about redoing these, but we kind of ran out of supplies and we're running low on hardwood and charcoal. I think I went out, I did like 2 or 3 laps. So I would go up here and grab hardwood. I would come down here, grab more hardwood. I would go to these towns and buy all the weapons they have and then smelt them. And I think we went through like, it had to have been like 12 or 1500 hardwood. So crazy amount of hardwood. We need way more. But I don't want to delay this too much more. I think I spent a little bit, maybe too much time farming that. So let's start working on our next thing. I do want to start hiring more people because we've been in this group for a little while. But I think, do we have? We are still clan tier 2. We're almost at clan tier 3. So we'll have to start another party soon as well. So that's something we need to worry about. But both of our caravans are still working. Our workshops are pumping out some money. So we're in pretty good shape. Actually, we need to buy another workshop. I forgot. That's what we should do right now. Let's go. Maybe Jalmaris is safe. Zionica would be safe as well. But I think Jalmaris is even safer. Let's just go put it over there. I don't really care if it makes a ton of money. We just need it to be positive so that we can continue to make the renown. So brewery, wool weaver, and wow, 2 breweries. Brilliant. What else is coming here? Oh yeah, that's a lot of grain. I can see why they would do that, but still probably not the smartest. Well, maybe it is. Let's buy one and see. So owner of the brewery, let's buy this guy's. All right, it's only going to cost us 22, so we still have some money left. Well, we'll see how that one does. Like I said, if it's not making a ton of money, it's okay. We can swap it later to something else. So that looks good. We need to make some money. We're at war with the Sturgeons now. Okay. Yeah, we're not really close to them, so I don't know why we're at war with them, but all right. Well, at least we can pick up some more hardwood here. We'll buy the weapons. They don't have anything. Yeah, they don't have hardwood here, so we'll just buy the weapons. That's pretty much all our cash. We'll go back, smelt it. We'll make at least a couple sets of weapons so that we can at least start with some gear for our front line, and then we'll start working with them. So I'd like to get at least 10, I think, to start with. So let's get sets of 10, and we also need 10 shields. How many shields do we have? We have 15, so we're good on that. We have nothing for anybody other than shields. So we do need to get that for everybody. Let's go ahead and craft a couple sets of things. So for sure we need a javelin. And I'm tempted to keep everything away from these guys other than polearm weapons so that they can just focus on it. Because I don't like the idea of having them have to level up like 3 different skills for combat. 2 maybe is fine, so throwing and polearm is fine. So we'll do maybe 2 sets of javelins, 1 polearm, and a shield. And then they can use, if they want to stay close range, they can save one of their javelins and use it in melee. If they need a longer one, they would use the one that we craft. So why don't we do that? This one is what we crafted last time. And we need to smelt a bunch of stuff. So let's do that with our John Hawkwood, because he's got the perk that takes very little stamina. Yeah, practical smelter. We can also do practical refiner with our top guy. Convert a little bit of that. But mostly we need steel, right? Yeah, so we need to get somebody. We've got quite a few people that have steel. So if it's 2 each, 10 people, we need 20. We need 20 steel. That should be enough for that. Let's just do one thing at a time. So let's get 10 of these. There's 10. We have only 1 dull. It's fine. I'm just going to leave it. I don't really care if it's not perfect. We can go back later and fix them. I think for now we'll just work with what we've got. So 2 sets of that. We need 10 polearms. Let's go to our polearm and we'll piece something together here. So I do want to make sure they have a decent weapon here. Maybe, yeah, it's only 1 steel for a lot of these high-end tips, and then fine steel for this one. This might actually be the right call. This one seems pretty deadly. So let's go ahead and put one together. I do want it to be fairly long, maybe right around the 200 length. I think 200 is probably reasonable. We can go even longer if we get the extension, so maybe like 250. And then we can make the head long. We can scale back the shaft to get down to 250, just a little bit. Let's go 250, something like that. We don't need the end piece. That's fine. So we only need 10 of these, so we have enough to do both, actually, or to do all 10. So we'll go 5, 10. We've got a couple rusty ones, a dull one, a dull one. There we go. There's the balance. Let me get rid of the bad ones. We should have... No, we're short ones still. Let's go do one more. Normal. Perfect. Okay, so we have that. We have the shields. They're going to be on foot, so we don't need anything else. Let me go recruit, and then we'll come back and talk about who made it. Aha, I take that back. We don't have enough money. So everybody costs about 1,000 each, roughly. So we're not going to have money. Let me go farm up some looters real quick. And then I'm going to put all this stuff back in the warehouse. We'll deal with it later. And let's go find some looters. Perfect. Found one right away. Actually, there's a set of 30 back there as well. So we'll take both of these out. That'll give us plenty of money. Here we go. Got that done. We should make some decent money. But you can see here, we hit this guy for 89 blunt damage with this mace. Previous one was doing like 30. So this is definitely the way to go if you're going to use a mace. We'll keep it on our elite horse cavalry. I think we'll keep our foot troops simple with just the polearm and the javelins. I think that's the right call. Also, the javelins were slightly better. It was doing 60 damage, so it's twice as much, but you get half as many javelins. So I don't know what's better. Like, should you have more quality or more quantity, or should you just have... Well, you know what? I think as these guys get to higher skill, it's probably better to have the higher number. So we can switch it back later, because once we get up to here, we may not even need the damage because our skill is going to increase the damage so much. But we'll see. I don't know if it scales that way exactly. Let's take out this other group of 30 so we don't have to chase anybody again after this. Well, we should have plenty of money. Here, you can see how well these javelins do. The new one they're going to throw. Throwing it now for some reason. Alright. Whatever. Clean these guys up real quick. There we go. Finished him off. Ooh, nice. Catherine the Bambino with 5 kills. That's pretty good. There we go. So we sell the armor we made. We got plenty of money for a full set of 10 easily. And then even some armor for them. And then, yeah, they're going to start out at low skill. So they got to have all the advantages they can get from the armor. Otherwise, they're going to get screwed. So let me go ahead and recruit. We need to go to 2 towns because there's 5 in each one. So we'll go to 2 towns, get them outfitted, and we'll come back and start training them up. And checking in real quick on our brewery. It's making 150. It's not terrible. Silversmith almost at 500 and the smithy at 400. So we're making a killing off of these workshops. So not bad at all. Our Ekroyd merchant, he just hit the important level. At level 225, the perk, it reduces minus 15 caravan guard wages. So it's going to make him much more profitable. Yeah, because his wages are going to go down. So whatever he was making before, he's going to make even more. And they're both making pretty good money. Look at that. It's really good. All right, let's see who we got here. So we're using the designation F for frontline. I messed this up. I should have used these guys as C for cav. And then this should have been S for spear, but whatever. We'll make it work. Samuel Di Emanuel, Mario Luigino, Nicolo Guzzo, Arctius Huntsman Adam of Rhenus, Bruno Bartolini, Arturius Castus, Anthony Soprano, Catherine Dearden, and Giorno Pirdolini. So everybody's starting out at 0 basically, just with the 25 medicine. So they'll have to work their way up. We'll do that, I think, for a lot of the early stages, and then as we get to the later stage, if we want to increase, maybe we'll start them off with a little bit of skill, so we're not having to pick so many perks after each battle. But this should be good for now. But let's see how they perform. Like I said, they start out at 0. I'm not really going to hold my breath that they'll do well, but we'll see. Oh, you know what? We need to buy riding mounts for them. Yeah, so we have, what, 10? So let's go in here and get 10 Midland Palfrey. They're not that expensive, actually. Ooh, I forgot to put all of our stuff down. We did get a little Thamaskene steel, but we'll put all this stuff back and we'll deal with it later. 978 crude iron. And I've been converting this into wrought iron and all the way down up the chain, but man, it takes so much hardwood to do that.